Okay, everybody, this is chapter 8, section 6. This one is another section dealing with factoring, and we're going to kind of use some of the same um, concepts that we used in the last section when we were factoring with the x. Okay, so we're going to kind of use the same steps, but this one we get an extra added step because our trinomial is going to be a little bit different. Okay. So if you take a look at this really quick, this is the problem that we're going to deal with. And remember when I say factoring, what I want to do is be able to take this and split it up into two binomials. All right, it's like doing, FOIL or the boxes backwards. Okay. In the last section, this first number was always a 1, and now this number is bigger than 1, and so this makes us do a little bit extra work. Okay. So just kind of stay with me. Hopefully you got a really good kind of positive in with the x that we use when they call that the leading coefficient. When the leading coefficient was a 1, we were pretty much multiply to the top with the middle number on the bottom. We're still going to do that, and then what multiplies to the top, what adds to the bottom, we're still going to do that. Then we have one more thing that we need to do. Okay, so here we go. First step, if you remember, we take the first number and we multiply it to the back and we put that on top. Okay, we take the middle number, not the variable with it, just the number, and put it on the bottom. Okay, if it's a negative, make sure the negative sign goes with it. Same thing with the top. Okay, now you're going to ask yourself what multiplies to the top and adds to the bottom. Okay, well, I know that 1 times 6 is 6, but 1 plus 6 is 7. 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 plus 3 is 5. So, sometimes you got to think it out. Okay, so we're going to put those there. Doesn't matter where you put those either. You can have that flipped. Okay, now this is where our steps get different. So you might want to go ahead and look at step number 4. Okay, we've filled in the box. We're going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to take a Punnett square. Okay. You guys remember that? Let's see if I could draw it in a straighter square. Sorry. Draw a Punnett square. 2 ways to do this. I'm going to show you 2 different ways here. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to take my first term and I'm going to put it in the box. Okay, remember we used to have stuff outside the box. I'm going to take my last term and put it down here. They need to go diagonally. Okay, I'm going to take this term and I'm going to put it in the box with the variable that's in the problem. Okay, oops, should be a 2. Sorry. All right, so that's why we call this X box. Okay, just a different way to do this. I wish I had learned how to do this when I was a kid again too. We didn't learn how to do this. We did guessing and checking, and it was a nightmare. Okay, now in step 5, so that's filling in the box. In step 5, it says pull out the GCF from both columns. That's the up and downs. And then both rows to get the factored answer. So I'm going to take a GCF out of the columns and I'm going to write it at the top of the box, and then I'm going to do it again on the rows. That's side to side, put those on the outside of the box. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just kind of do this. What's my GCF in both of those boxes? Well, I could take out a 3 and I could take out a power of x. Okay. Remember that power of x. I'm going to go through here. What can I take out of those 2 boxes as a GCF? I could take out a 2. Okay, hopefully you can see that. All right. Now I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go sideways, and I'm going to take out GCFs. Now, what can I take out of both of those? Well, I can't take a 3 out of a 2 or a 2 out of a 3, but I could take out a power of x. Okay, and then what can I take out of those 2? Now, this is where you got to be careful, and you might want to write this down. There is really nothing I could take out of those 2. Okay, and we really don't do this as GCFs, or we haven't done it before, but for now we have to. So I can take out a GCF of 1. So if you say I can't take anything out, now you can take out a 1. Okay? So now I get what I had on the top, 3x and 2, and that's going to go in one set of parentheses, and I take what I have on the side, and that goes in the other set of parentheses, and there's my factors. Okay? So let's FOIL it back out and see if we get what we're supposed to get. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 1 is 3x. 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 1 is 2. So I can put those together. 3x squared plus 5x plus 2. And that's what you started with. Okay? So x box. You know how to do the x. You did it before. Adding a little bit of stuff. You know how to do GCFs. We've been doing that before. It's just a process, and you have to do a bunch of these to get the process down. Stick with it. Use your notes. Write some things down for yourself. And hopefully you wrote down this step. Okay. And then you got some good notes to help you out. Okay. Okay, so let's do a bunch of these. The only way we get good at it is doing a bunch of them. So we'll go ahead and draw X. We'll go ahead and draw a box. And we're going to do that for all of these except for this top one on the right. I'm going to show you a little different way of doing it. Okay. Just a different way. I like Xbox. I kind of learned that from another teacher a long time ago. And then he showed me another way to do it. And I thought that was kind of cool too. So I'm glad I ran into him. All right. So let's do our steps to fill in the X first. You take the first number times the last, gives you 10. Take the middle number, gives you 11. Okay. So what multiplies to 10 and adds to 11? Now the only numbers I know to multiply to 10 are this and this, but which pair adds up to 11? It's 1 and 10. A lot of students don't think of 1 times whatever number, okay, or 1 times itself. That one shows up a lot. So remember that 1 times something gives you a number that can be added up. Okay. So now to fill in my box, I go and I take the first term, put it up here. Take the last term, put it down here. Have to go diagonally. And then I take these two off the side, add the variable to it. Okay, and now I'm going to pull out my GCF. So, you know, you can go side to side and top to bottom. It doesn't matter. I usually start here. And then I forget what I'm doing. I start on the side. It doesn't matter. So what can I take out as a GCF there? I could take out a power of X. What can I take out of these two? I could take out a 2. 2 goes into 10. Then come side to side. What can I take out of that? And I got to be careful when you got X's or variables in both boxes. You could take out a power of that variable too. So I could take out a 5 from the numbers, and I could take out a power of X. Now, what can you take out of that? There's nothing I could take out of that as a GCF. Well, if I can't, I could take out a 1. Okay. So now I can go ahead. I got everything on the outside becomes my GCF or my factors. 5x plus 1, and on the top x plus 2. Okay. Foil that back out and just see if you got it right. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to have you do these two right here. Xbox those, a little bit different numbers here. So sometimes you really got to think this one out when they get a little bit bigger. But you know, there is an answer, so keep going. This one's going to give you maybe some difficulties because of the minus sign, but give it a shot. Okay, so hit pause. Try these two. Come on back when you're done, and I'll have the solutions going. Okay. All right, so 6 times 5 is 30. Middle term is 13. I believe 10 times 3 gives me 30, and 10 plus 3 gives me 13. I take the first term, put it in here. Take the last term here, put it down here. Take the 2 terms here, add the variable to it. now I'm looking for GCF. So going through here, from the numbers, I could take out a 2, and there's an x in both boxes, so I could take out a power of x. I go through here and I say there's nothing in common. If there's nothing, there's a 1. Go sideways now. What can I take out of the numbers? 3 goes into both, and there's an x in each, so I could take out a power of x. Go through these two. What could I take out of both of those? I could take out a 5. Okay, so that gives me my factors. And I would FOIL that back out or box that back out and just see, did I get what I started with? Okay. This one, 4 times negative 15 is a negative 60. And I got a positive 17 at the bottom. I'll write that a little bit more neatly. Sorry. Okay. I said this earlier in another section that if this number on top is negative, then these have to be different signs. If that number is positive, then the bigger of the factors has to be positive. Okay, so we talked about that before. Hopefully you got lots of practice. What multiplies to 60 and adds to 17? So this is a different one. These ones kind of throw us for a loop. But positive 20, this should be a negative, sorry. Slow down. Positive 20 and negative 3 multiply to a negative 60, and they add up to positive 17. Okay, so take the first term, 4k squared, put it here. Take the last term, it was a negative 15. Make sure the signs come with it. Add the variables to these two guys. I get 20x, and I get negative 3x. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go GCF through here. Oh, I'm sorry, I put it X. It should be K's. Time out. Please. I'm going to get my variables right. I screwed up my box. Redraw it. Okay, put the right ones in here now. I got 20k and negative 3k. There you go. Go through vertically there. I could take out a 4 from the numbers and a power of k. Here I could take out, you got to be really careful here. I could take out a negative 3 out of both the numbers. Okay, so if the sign, take kind of the rule is the first box you go into when you're going either vertically or sideways, you take that sign with it. So the first box I went into was negative. That's when I'm taking the negative sign. I go through here. What can you take out? I could take out the power of k. What can I take out of here? I think 4 or 5 goes into both, so I could take that out. Okay, so I kind of got a mess here. But on the top, I got this, so 4k minus 3, and then I got k plus 5 on the bottom. Okay, there we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and draw your X. And I'm just going to draw the X on this one. I'll show you something a little bit different. Okay. So I take the first times the last, put it on the top. I take the middle number, put it on the bottom. We know what multiplies to 14 adds up to 9. Not too many numbers here. So 7 times 2 gives me that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, instead of using the box now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to divide both of these by the leading coefficient and the variable. So I'm going to put that here. Okay. And what I want to do is like reduce this like a fraction if I can. Okay. So this first one, I could get rid of the 7s. I have a 1 left over. Over here, I can't reduce it. Okay. So now we use something called bottoms up. So I come over to the biggest coefficient first. It's just the right way to write this. I start from the bottom and I go up. The bottom goes first. The top goes second. Okay. Come over to this one. The bottom goes first. The top goes second. Okay. That's called, we call that really big X. Okay. I like it. With the box of stuff, we got lots of stuff going on. this, I can use a whole X and I'm kind of done. But that took me a long time, even as a teacher, trying to get really good at it. Okay, I just had to do a bunch of them. All right. If you FOIL this back out, I'm going to FOIL it back out just to kind of prove to you that it works. 7m times m is 7m squared. 7m times 1 is 7m. 2 times m is 2m. And 2 times 1 is 2. I can put those two together. I get 7m squared plus 9m plus 2. And that is what we started with. Okay. So I would suggest using the box. If you got that down, that's really pretty easy for it. I really try this. This is something else that we can use later on in a different chapter. I really like it. I think it's pretty cool. Okay. All right. So that's it. Just practice, practice, practice on those. Don't be afraid to try. And you're not going to fail. We don't give you too many problems that aren't factorable. That comes later. These ones, there's going to be an answer. Give it a try. You're going to make mistakes. Don't quit. Okay. If you got any questions, come see me and really get your work done on that and practice hard. It's hard.